When writing non-human POV characters, it's crucial to root their behavior in their biology and instincts. For example, a predator might prioritize hunting and survival over forming social bonds. This character's decisions would revolve around securing food, territory, or safety. They'd be driven by a natural need to sustain itself and dominate its environment. On the other hand, a herbivore might be more focused on sensing danger and locating resources, with a heightened awareness of potential threats. Their actions would likely center around staying vigilant and avoiding predators, often relying on group dynamics or environmental cues that signal safety. This tip, understanding the character's biology and instincts, is the first of a couple I have for those seeking help on writing non-human POV characters. In this case, I'm focusing specifically on animals or anything animal-like, so I'm disqualifying anything that pulls a Pixar and gives human-like emotions, behaviors, and personality to non-humans. I imagine some tips can translate across to degrees, but that's a different discussion. This is part of what was asked of me, so here's my best to deliver. If you feel I do, be sure to like the video and do things to support the channel, as every little bit helps. Now, let's get back to me helping you. 2. Develop a unique communication style. If your non-human characters don't communicate through spoken language, focus on other forms of communication, such as body language, pheromones, colors, sounds, or even telepathy. These alternative methods of communication can convey their thoughts and emotions in ways that feel truly alien while still being understandable to readers. By emphasizing how these characters can use their unique forms of communication, you can create a more immersive and believable portrayal of their non-human nature. To ensure that readers can follow this non-verbal communication, provide enough context for them to grasp its meaning without relying on human-like dialogue. For example, if a species communicates through color change, establish the significance of specific cues by showing how they correspond to differing emotions or commands. This way, readers can infer the character's intent and emotional state from the context, keeping the communication clear and engaging without making it feel too human. Tip 3. Emphasize their sensory experience. Consider how your non-human character perceives the world differently from humans. If they possess heightened senses, such as a dog's sense of smell or a bird's sharp vision, these abilities should guide their interaction with their surroundings. Their sensory priorities will shape how they experience and respond to the world, influencing everything from how they navigate their environment to how they interpret various stimuli. By emphasizing these unique perceptions, you can create a more authentic and engaging portrayal of their non-human perspective. To maintain this authenticity, avoid using human-centric descriptions. Instead, focus on how the non-human character would naturally experience the world. For instance, rather than describing an object's appearance, highlight its smell, temperature, or movement, qualities that might be more relevant to the character's senses. This approach allows readers to see the world through the character's eyes, or other senses, in a way that feels true to their nature, providing a more immersive experience. 4. Highlight their different cognitive processes. Non-human characters may have thought processes that differ significantly from human norms. Their thinking might not be linear or rational in a way humans understand, instead focusing on patterns, instincts, or sensory cues. Rather than pondering abstract concepts or planning for the future, they might rely on immediate sensory input or instinctual responses to navigate their world. This can create a more authentic portrayal of their alien mindset, emphasizing how their cognitive processes are shaped by their biology and environment. When it comes to memory and learning, non-human characters might recall experiences differently from humans. Instead of detailed recollections, they might have an associative memory, linking specific smells, sounds, or sensations with past events. This kind of memory is more immediate and sensory driven, often triggered by environmental cues rather than deliberate reflection. By focusing on these differences in how they learn and remember, you can further distinguish their thought patterns from human ones, enhancing the authenticity of their non-human perspective. 5. Showcase species-specific social norms. Develop social structures that align with the specific needs and instincts of your non-human species. For example, a hive-based species might prioritize the collective's well-being over individual desires, with each member playing a predefined role for the greater good. In contrast, a solitary predator might have little need for social bonds, focusing more on territory, survival, and dominance. These species-specific social norms should feel natural and logical, reflecting the unique way these characters interact with the environment and each other. Avoid imposing human social structures like family units, friendship, or romantic relationships unless they generally fit the species' nature. Instead, explore alternative forms of interaction that might be more relevant to their biology and societal needs. For instance, a species might bond through shared sensory experiences rather than emotional connections, or they might communicate primarily through nonverbal cues instead of conversation. By focusing on these unique social structures, you can create a richer and more believable world that remains true to the non-human perspective. 6. Keep their behavior consistent. Ensure that your non-human character's behavior remains consistent with their natural instincts. For instance, a character that is naturally nocturnal wouldn't suddenly become active during the day without a compelling reason. Their actions should align with their inherent traits, whether it is their sleeping patterns, hunting habits, or social interactions. By staying true to these instincts, you create a more believable and immersive character whose behavior is rooted in their biological reality. Additionally, if the species isn't prone to emotion like humans are, reflect that in their point of view. These characters might react to stimuli in a more detached, instinctual manner, focusing on survival, reproduction, or other basic needs rather than emotional responses. This limited emotional range can highlight their alien nature, making them distinct from human characters while still allowing readers to understand and engage with their actions and decisions. 7. Consider how they interact with their environment. Describe how your non-human characters interact with their environment in ways that reflect their physical traits. For instance, a creature with multiple limbs might use them simultaneously for different tasks, seamlessly coordinating their actions in a way that would be impossible for a human. Similarly, a creature with wings might view vertical movement as naturally as humans perceive walking, effortlessly navigating their surroundings in 3 dimensions. These interactions should be depicted in a way that highlights their unique anatomy and abilities, making their actions feel authentic and distinct. When it comes to tool use and manipulation, consider how their anatomy influences this process. A species without hands might rely on mouth or tail manipulation to handle objects, adapting this tool to suit their physical capabilities. Conversely, a creature with claws might struggle with fine motor skills, leading to the development of tools and techniques that accommodate their limitations. 8. Tailor your prose to your POV. When it comes to writing prose, there are 6 elements that make it up: dialogue, dialogue tags, action beats, description, narration, and internalization. You're going to want to use dialogue and dialogue tags with care if you're using non-human communication in ways that go beyond conventional spoken words. Likewise, with internalization, this is something you're going to want to use minimally. You want to avoid making the character's thought processes too human-like. Focus on instinctual and sensory-driven thoughts rather than complex, abstract reasoning if you do include thinking. Description and action beats, meanwhile, are going to be essential. There's a lot you'll have to learn about pulling this off, so, well, I recommend studying that art. As for narration, it can help guide the reader through stuff that might not be immediately understandable from a human perspective. With regards to this, I'd consider what the POV is. You'll likely see this most with omniscient, but that's a whole discussion for a different video. That video is here, to be precise. Click it if you want to learn more.